Welcome to episode 40. So, one of the things I want to talk about is what happened to my childhood stores, right? I remember growing up walking into a Toys R Us, and actually like flipping through the NES games because back then there wasn't the internet. We didn't know what kind of games were available. And then flipping through and figuring out, hey, what games should I buy? Or what toys, just kind of playing around with it and seeing that because I saw it on TV and it looked really cool. Same thing with like Sears. I remember just shopping with my parents at the Sears store, and of course there's that video game section. They had a demo of different like Sega Genesis and the SNES demos to play around with and try out new games. So so then recently both big corporations that's been a big part of my childhood now has gone bankrupt. So let's kind of dive a little deeper and see what the heck happened, right? Like Toys R Us. One of the decisions that they made was their website wasn't that great, and they decided, hey, you know what? Let's market on Amazon. And then they realized, wait a minute, Amazon's really taking a big part of a lot of our shares. So then they try to pull back, but by then it was a little too late. So they literally kind of walked themselves into a lion's mouth, right? Another piece is like they just kept borrowing money to basically they were living on borrowed money to a point where their interests were like $200 million on interest alone, and that just wasn't sustainable. And of course, through that, they just ran out of money, and at that point, they had to close up shop. With Sears, sure, there was already a lot of competition out there already, like Walmart, online stores, and Home Depot. But even before, like let's say the Amazon was really around and really a big factor in all this, they weren't even doing certain things to start changing and innovating. People were kind of moving away because when how Sears started was really they had these catalogs that they were shipped out to these farmers and to these families, and people would order out of these catalogs, and I can't even imagine doing that today. That just doesn't exist. And of course, Sears tried to shift that over to these stores, but then they didn't. They stopped evolving. They stopped innovating. Um, and then they started just to compete. They started closing stores. They started cutting prices, and then they started selling off their profitable brands like Kenmore, and they had this real estate business that they were just losing money left and right, and just to pay off to keep up, they were just selling the good brands. And next thing you know, there's really nothing left of it. And of course, sales started declining. They stopped innovating. They stopped really competing at the online world when other competitors were coming in. So you see, all these things, it really boils down to as looking at it from, we can definitely learn some lessons from these big companies. As a small business owner, we want to look at it as like, all right, slashing prices. Do we really want to slash prices? Is that really the first thing you go to just to stay competitive? Because eventually you're going to start giving things away for free, right? Don't do that. Instead, look at your market, look at your target market. Where are they going? What are they doing? Where are they shopping, right? How are they buying your products and services? And looking at more innovative ways to sell, and always constantly reinvest into R&D, reinvest into, of course, your website. But websites aren't going to last forever. What's next, right? What's the next big marketing platform out there? So always be ahead of the game. And sure, it may be going great right now, but it won't always be that way. So always look forward into the future. Even these big brands, we would think they would last a lot longer, but they didn't make it. So hope this helps. Please comment below if you experienced this, or maybe some of your stories of Toys R Us or Sears. I'd love to hear that. So have a good day.